Okay, August 14th, 25, after market hours, just gonna go over basically what happened in the market today and what we learned from it and what we can be on the lookout for. So we'll start over here with SPY. SPY had an inside daily bar inside of the previous day's range, clearly in a bounce range here. Our uptrend is still intact. We didn't violate any one-to-one time framing on that. Um, what I would be looking for on SPY would be one of two things. This is the one I would be slightly more careful of, is a higher low above 645.65 for continuation to new all-time highs. The other thing that I would see happening here would be if we pull back to 642.7, do we reject it, come up back up to the top of this bounce range? Or if we don't reject it, price accepts below, we get a lower high below, then I would come looking for 639.85, 639.85, previous all-time high. That would be a good location for a higher low on a daily chart to continue the uptrend. Okay. Moving on over to QQQ. What QQQ's chart, far more disastrous. On the QQQ chart, we did open with a gap down. We do have a lower high on the hourly chart. So potential downtrend has already started. If we can get tomorrow, I would be looking for, as my first thought, lower high below yesterday, low a day. Aiming for eventually 574.65, which would be a good spot for a higher low on the hourly. If we stay inside value area tomorrow, there's no way, under no circumstance, would I take a trade in that area. Absolute wreck. Absolute and total wreck. Taking a higher low over 580.85 to target yesterday high a day, maybe possible, depending on market internals, other things going on, possible. IWM. I got a handful of good trades out of IWM today. This here, there was a gap here, as you could see from like here to here. So let's zoom in a little closer, take a look. So right off the rip, let's see where I entered. I entered on a lower high right here to target here, which was likely the gap close. As you could see, that trade worked out well on IWM today. The other trade, IWM, if you don't know, has been in a strong uptrend the last couple of days. It broke out of a multi-week bounce range. The top of that was 225.5. It's had strong relative strength to anything else due to 99% probabilities of a rate cut in September. Small caps love rate cuts, so it has a catalyst. We were looking for a higher low on larger charts. I was thinking it would be around 226.76. It did go a little bit lower than that, filling the gap and a little bit right where was yesterday low a day? Right there, it was 227.82. So 227.82 right there. So as this reversed today, you could see there was a flag here. I watched this 270, I was watching at this 272.82, and you could see we had what was almost a hammer candle. It kind of ended up being a doji, but I saw that yesterday low a day retest with that candle there, entered at the top of it, targeted previous previous resistance right here as my high, caught another good trade on IWM right there. IWM gave me my only good trades today at all. I had losers on Palantir and Amazon, but yeah, that's cool. All right, so as far as this chart goes, switch on over to the hourly. You can really see that strength that RTY IWM's had. Looks like we're setting up for a potential higher low right here. Did mark Wednesday's open. So here's what I'm looking for. Can we get a higher low above yesterday high a day? And then get to 230, see what happens from there. Do we reject 230 or do we get above it for continuation of the uptrend? So I see that is a potentially really good trade tomorrow. Higher low above yesterday high a day. Even if we pull back to, I don't know where overnight lows, overnight highs are going to be, but something like that for higher low and then continue back up. That's what I'd look for. And then do we get another break and retest above 230 or not? Target Wednesday's high, then target 232.30. So there's no reason to think anything bearish about IWM at this point. So out of these three indexes, the only index I have anything bearish potentially to say is the NASDAQ. And that is because we have officially created a lower high on the hourly chart. It was just shit price action all day. And we could easily set up for a quick short scalp under yesterday low a day on the NASDAQ tomorrow. Taking a look at market internals, you could see the morning with the tick, we started all the way down here near negative 1400. Spent the vast majority of the morning pretty significantly in the negatives. We didn't have any like 15-minute candle closes in the positives at all up until 12:45. If we go back to the charts here, you could see we started kind of reversed on SPY around that same time, started moving upward. Probably somewhat the same on NQ. Yeah, right around that same time, we started kind of moving up with NQ. We just weren't able to like break equal highs or new highs when it comes to NQ. Back to market internals. ADD, looks like we had an open negative 950, immediately shot down to negative 1800. Never really fully recovered on that. We did kind of lean to the negative side most of the day. As you can tell, small caps did well today. So that would support why ES was able to move up while NQ didn't make a lot of progress. And in case you missed it and you live under a rock, our catalyst today as to why QQQ was open gap down, as to why tech was so red, was PPI inflation reports came in really super hot, like our hottest report since the sickness, I think, in that era. And um, turns out there is some evidence to support maybe tariffs might cause some inflation. Anyways, um, let's look at volume flows. Steady outward volume flow today, really supporting that we had some selling pressure, but as you can see in SMH, we were able to hold above key level 297. XOK has held above key level 266.50. XOK makes up 33% of SPY, makes up significant portion, if not all, of QQQ. So, so we're still looking good to support the idea that we have some type of bullish edge and that there's some healthy rotation in the market going forward. We don't think we're crashing, burning, going to zero. Doesn't look like that's coming in our immediate future. Taking a look at HYG, junk bonds, you can see it did downtick today, and we do see the same thing, a downtick on LQD as ES and SPY were flat today. So that's something I want to keep an eye on for the future. Just monitor that closely. And since I shared two winning trades today, I guess I'll go ahead and share two losing trades as well. This one, start over here on Palantir, this first trade I took today. Let me zoom out so I can show the idea. All right. So the idea on Palantir here is that we've been kind of stuck at these highs. We had a failure to go higher right here. That was on Tuesday and Wednesday. And this looked like distribution. And I believe yes, we opened with a gap down this morning, I believe. And so the thought was we pull back to 183.5, which closes the gap, which would be, and then a gap fill reversal. And then there would be this overhead supply above to reject off of. I would be able to short back down, I mean, to at least the overnight low or even to at least the low a day. Okay, so let's look at what I did wrong. All right, so I entered, golly. So you could see it came up. We kind of have a hammer candle here. Now, normally I would have entered at a break of a low of that hammer candle. Instead, I stupidly entered like 2 cents too early. Had I actually waited for that to break and see, I would have never entered, because if it breaks above the hammer that I'm trying to enter off of, well, I'll wait for a new setup. So I entered too early by a penny or two, which caused, you know, a fair enough, substantially enough loss this morning. Uh, my mistake. And it was, in fact, the right idea, because what ends up happening? What ends up happening is, well, obviously I lost, but then it double tops up here, comes back down, and then you get a good reentry right here that actually succeeded. I didn't take that one. I was too busy watching other things. Instead, I took the losing one because I decided to enter early. Um, you know, mistakes happen. It is what it is. Just gotta, live to trade another day. I also attempted to take this trade on Shopify. There is a massive gap on Shopify. Okay. From 144 to 127.33. It opened gap down this morning, did a gap and go. Was that actually a gap down? Let me take a look and make sure I'm not talking out my butt. Oh, it doesn't look like it actually opened gap down. It opened at the bottom of yesterday's range. Moved straight down into this gap. Oh, what am I doing? Fix my screen. It moves straight down into this gap. Then you can see this hammer bar here, made an attempt to go back above the gap, failed, gave us a hammer, enter on the low of that hammer, and immediately go into profit, pretty significant profit, but I didn't sell. I just kept holding. I guess I thought it was going to close more of the gap than that, which it didn't. And ended up taking a loss on that. But while we're here talking about it, decent trade idea for tomorrow would be if we could break today's low of day, get a break and retest of that, we'd be looking to fill more of this gap. Are we going to fill it all? I don't know. That's a long ways to go. But you could at least, try and catch a trade risk reward 1 to 3, something like that. Whatever your risk area is, try and catch 3 times that amount, something like that, for a decent trade idea. While we're talking about trade ideas, one other one that we'll take a look at. NVIDIA has been in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-day bounce range at the highs here. So just kind of waiting for it to break above 183.75, then retest 183.75, higher low above, for new all-time highs. Technical theory is that when a bounce range breaks, you double that bounce range for your target size, and that would be a target of 188. Not going to happen in one day. So you would not want to use 0 DTE contracts if we got a higher low above that tomorrow and you actually wanted to hold through the whole thing. But I don't hold trades over the weekend, especially not with this White House administration, because that would be crazy. Too much volatility. Not saying anything bad or good about the federal administration, but just saying kind of crazy to take that kind of risk. So that is that. So those are those 2 trade ideas. My other ideas were what I shared on IWM, or lower high, below yesterday, lower day on QQQ, and lower high below yesterday, low of day on SPY to target these previous all-time highs for daily higher lows on the higher time frame charts to continue the uptrend. Anything else in QQQ, I couldn't imagine I would be interested in it. All right, have a great trading day tomorrow. See you later.